Today, we're going to dive into a really moving story. It's all about the power of grace and how letting go of judgment can bring so much peace, not just to our own hearts, but to all of our relationships. So let's get into it.
Then, sir, I will go with you. We're starting with this incredibly powerful line. Right now, you have no context for it, but these words, they're the key to this entire reflection. What could possibly inspire someone to say this? Well, let's find out. So, our journey begins with a powerful little anecdote, a story that's often told about Abraham Lincoln. It might seem simple on the surface, but it reveals something truly remarkable about compassion, about freedom, and really about the human heart. I want you to just picture the scene for a second. A public auction. A young woman is standing on the block, and she's facing a future that is just grim and terrifying. And Lincoln is there, watching this unfold, and he sees not a piece of property, but a person, a human being whose life is about to be destroyed. And here's the thing. He doesn't just feel sorry for her, he acts. He steps right in, pays the price they're asking for her, but not to own her. No, instead, he turns to her and gives her something she probably never even dared to dream of: total, unconditional freedom. I mean, can you even imagine her state of mind? You can just feel the disbelief in that question. After an entire life of being owned, this idea of freedom it's almost too big to comprehend. She's looking for the catch, you know?
And his reply is just as simple and just as profound as his action was. Yes, you are free. That's it. No strings attached, no conditions, just a simple declaration of her restored dignity, her humanity.
And that brings us right back to the quote we started with. Now look at her response. He didn't command her to follow him. He didn't force her in any way. She was freed from condemnation, and her heart responded not by running away, but with this loyal, grateful devotion. It just shows you this core idea: true freedom awakens love.
Now keep that story in your mind, because that exact same truth about freedom and condemnation, it's right at the heart of another very famous story. It's a parable from the Gospels, and it also involves a woman in terrible danger, but this time she's not on an auction block. No, she's surrounded by an angry mob.
The scene here is incredibly tense. You have a woman who's been caught in a deeply shameful act, and she's being publicly humiliated. But the crowd, they aren't just spectators. They're active participants with stones in their hands, ready to be her judges and her executioners. Her guilt seems like an open and shut case. But you have to ask yourself, was this really about justice? The source material suggests that, well, no, it wasn't. The crowd's real motive was to trap Jesus in a legal catch-22. This woman, she was just the bait, and their method was pure, brutal public condemnation. So in this incredibly high-stakes moment, Jesus doesn't get into a legal debate with them. Instead, with one single sentence, he completely flips the situation on its head. He turns the judgment of the crowd right back onto themselves. Let the one among you who is without sin be the first to throw a stone at her. Think about that. He doesn't deny she's guilty. He doesn't argue about the law. He just changes the requirement for being a judge. It's no longer about legal standing. It's about personal moral perfection. And the impact of those words is immediate and profound. The oldest, probably wisest members of the crowd, they get it first. They drop their stones and they just walk away. Then, one by one, everyone else follows. That unified mob just dissolves into a group of individuals, each one forced to look at their own conscience. And the noise just fades into silence. So now, the accusers are gone. The noise is gone. And all that's left is this very personal moment between Jesus and the woman. And it's right here that we see what mercy is really all about. This right here is the heart of it. Jesus gives her the exact same gift Lincoln gave the enslaved woman: freedom from condemnation. But listen to what comes next. It's a challenge. Go, and from now on, do not sin anymore. He doesn't pretend her past didn't happen, but he absolutely refuses to let it define her future. And this is such a key takeaway. The compassion we see here isn't a free pass for a destructive lifestyle. It's actually the exact opposite. It's a powerful invitation to become someone new. It's an act of mercy that gives back dignity and swings open the door to transformation.
Okay, so what does any of this mean for us, for our lives, right here, right now? How does this ancient story, this meditation on grace, actually apply to us? It really forces us to ask a tough question and to be honest with ourselves. Where in our own lives are we standing there like the crowd? Where are we holding on to stones of judgment or criticism or resentment, just ready to throw them at the people around us?
And, we're all invited to drop these stones in very real, practical places. In our own families, maybe it means finally letting go of an old grudge or that constant nagging criticism. In our communities, it's about how we talk about people when they're not in the room. And maybe especially today, online, it means resisting that powerful urge to join in on the public shaming, which is really our modern version of that mob with stones.
There's this beautiful piece of wisdom in the source material that just hits the nail on the head. It says when we take a really honest look at our own flaws, it becomes so much easier to give grace to other people when they mess up. Self-awareness is really the starting point for compassion. At the end of the day, that's what this is all about, isn't it? It's a call to look inward. It's an invitation to stop focusing so much on the faults of others and instead to examine our own hearts and to trust that the same mercy we're called to give is also there for us. A mercy that is bigger than any mistake we could ever make. So I'll just leave you with this one personal question to carry with you as you go about your day. What stone of judgment or anger or resentment are you being invited to drop today to make a little more room for grace?